More on the Charlie Kirk unaliving and trying to point fingers at TP USA and saying that they could be giving out so much more information to dispel this stuff. I'm stitching in Brandon Tatum, who once was a police officer and had to do these investigations, and he weighs in why, when it's an investigation like this, the FBI and them will tell people not to talk. So listen to what Brandon has to say, because too many people think TPUSA needs to be coming out with all this information. But Brandon explains why. Remember, former officer, so he knows what he's talking about.
We've received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone. And that somehow we're just like, sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, so it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this.
Yeah.
And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
All right. We got one more clip after this, but related to it. But let me address that real quick because I think it's important to hear. He said, I was an eyewitness to something, and the FBI saying don't talk about it. Why? Because it may compromise the case. That is key. And this is why a lot of people at Turning Point ain't saying nothing. Because if you were a part of the investigation as a eyewitness, or you have any leverage or any part of this investigation, you could screw the entire investigation up by running your mouth about things that are not privy in the public. I don't know how many times I got to say this. I want people to understand this clearly. When investigators are trying to get to the bottom of solving a crime, they cannot have people leaking and disclosing information that's only privy to the FBI or only somebody involved in the investigation would know. Why? Because when they have a suspect B and they bring him in and they start questioning him or her, when the person start divulging information, they can make a clear determination. Whoa, how does she know about the bag that was left in the alleyway? We never made that public. So that means only a person involved in this case would even know that information. But when you start disclosing information like it's going out of style to everybody in the country, they don't have a good enough way to interrogate a person because they don't know if that person authentically is involved and they know things or they heard it on the internet. And for everybody out here saying they're